Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. You know, for those of us who are attempting to get ready for winter, I gotta tell you, no more fooling around for me or anybody else out there. And here's the reason why. Upstate from me a little ways, they're talking about some snow blowing in tonight at the higher elevations. It's a little... I don't think it's going to stick. I don't think it's going to be that much trouble. But guys, no more fooling around, right? Get ready. Get your tarps replaced. Get your propane tanks put away. Get your areas cleaned up. Get yourself going, or you're going to find yourself screwed for the winter. And so is Harvey. Anyway, a quick video. I just added somebody else to the wall. William Staton, Bill Staton. I've known Bill for a while. Bill was here a while ago, last summer. Was it the summer before? I think it was last summer. Anyway, he'll remind me. Hopefully he'll watch this video and remind me. From Bill, I've been watching his channel for a while, and I've learned a lot. I think he's like a mechanical genius for a lot of this stuff. Actually, and from his channel, I came up with this box thing, right? After watching a bunch of his videos on CDIs and so forth, I figured out, hey, wait a minute, I could get a GY6 CDI box that runs on 12 volts and smash 12 volts into the box and put a coil on there. Then all I need is ground and a little pulse from the engine, and I got myself a whole ignition system. So I have to credit him with the Spooner box 12 volt portable ignition system. Anyway, obviously I watch his videos and he watches some of mine. One of Bill's favorite bikes is the 300EX, the Honda TRX300EX, and I want to be saying that. So when I showed him the video, or when I got that thing and I showed the video and I said it doesn't have reverse, he goes, you have reverse, you just don't have the parts. I have spares, do you want the parts? And I'm like, well, I didn't smoke anything before bed, so he says I have reverse, I better go out and look at the bike again. Anyway, he sent me this, and I said, whoa, pretty cool. And it's important as you look at this to notice where it's worn, right? It's worn a little bit here, and it's worn a little bit up here, right? And you got this bracket thing and that bracket thing there. So when he says, yeah, you have reverse, you're just missing the parts, I came back out and looked at the bike. Well, sure enough, right, I looked at the neutral through fifth and said, oh, no reverse on here. And then I saw this and I said, oh, I'm not sure what the hell that is, but God knows. Well, it turns out what that is this thing smashes on here like this, and that hooks up like that, and the little bit of wear here is probably from somebody's boot when they do the shifter thing there, right? So I think that's how this whole thing goes. And just in case I got it wrong, Bill or anybody else with one of these things, if you could correct me, I'd appreciate that. But anyway, I thought it was really cool that Bill, corrected me, first of all, because obviously I didn't know what I was talking about. And second of all, that he had a spare one and he sent it to me. What's cooler than that, huh? So, Bill doesn't do the whole sticker thing. Though, I think back when he was here, I gave him a couple of these guys, right? There are no more of those left. So, and I have his address, so I'm going to send him new ones of these. And basically, particularly it was you, Dizzy, who asked, what's the humpy guy doing here? Well, subscribe to Hoarding Mayhem on YouTube, enjoy all your days, which means you're kind of, in my opinion, you're screwing the Grim Reaper a little bit, because you're out there and you're having fun and you're enjoying all your days. You're not wasting any time. I think, an opinion, right? Everybody's got one. The Grim Reaper gets his grips on you when you're not having fun. You might not necessarily be dead, you might not necessarily even be dying, but if you're not having fun anymore, the Grim Reaper has a grip on you. So you got to make sure you get out there and have plenty of fun. Anyway, what else do I have to talk about? I guess the second thing is on a completely different video. Anyway, special thanks. I got to tell you, Bill bailed me out here in a couple of different ways. He set me straight on the reverse, and he even gave me the parts to hook up reverse. But seeing that for whatever reason somebody took this off and didn't put this back on leads me to believe that that engine's been poked around with. I know the ignition system's been poked around with, but now I see the engine's been poked around with. And I told you guys the story about this thing, right? This, near me, there's a trailer park. And the characters in that trailer park have everything. As a matter of fact, God, I don't even know where it is anymore. There's a 250, a TRX300EX that actually came from somebody who lives in the trailer park. I bought it from him. And so there's him and this guy and a whole bunch of them. This guy, once again, doesn't live right in the trailer park. He's not far from there. But they get together and they ride and they terrorize the neighborhood. I mean, not terrorize as in put in clown outfits, but, go riding around and people would get upset and, call the cops on them, and then they'd run away and hide, and it's quite the cat and mouse game. There's no vandalism, there's none of that. These guys are decent guys. So it was one of the bikes that ran with them. And these guys ran everything. They ran everything from Yamahas to Kawasaki's, Hondas, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, UTVs, golf carts, go-karts, mini bikes. These guys would get in a pack and go riding. So, yeah, they'd be out there in most everything and anything. I think anything but a China bike. I don't think they'd lower themselves to a China bike. Or maybe they just hadn't run across one. If they got one, they would run it. So, that's where this thing came from. I've made a couple of phone calls and I'm not getting the answer on it. This bike had the sticker scraped off that should say it's a TRX300EX with the date of manufacturer, and in between the front shocks is that cross piece where the VIN number is stamped. That has been removed also, ground off. Somebody went through a lot of trouble to get that off. The ignition system is completely played, like somebody took the key switch out of it and messed with a bunch of the wiring and so forth. So I've been asking, and everybody says that, oh yeah, they know the bike, they know the history. And then I asked the question, who scraped all that stuff? And, oh no, that's not scraped. And I'm like, yo, I got the bike, it's scraped. And then I say where I got it from, and they tell me, no, that guy's owned it for a while. And their stories seem to jive. The stories the trailer park boys are telling me, I called a couple of them, are jiving with the guy who sold it to me. But once again, it's not jiving with the fact that the numbers are missing. So that's got me a little bit, I'm going to use the word concerned. And I don't know what to do about that. I mean, do I bring the bike to the cops and say, yo, I bought this bike without stickers or anything on it, and they're going to say, what do you want from us? If we can't get the VIN number, we can't tell you if it's stolen or not. I guess they could say and start asking, well, has any 300EX has been stolen in the last 100 years? But once again, if you don't have a VIN number or any of the other crap, who's to say when somebody puts their hand up and says, oh yeah, it's mine? Well, it's yours. You probably could prove that by showing up with a key, but I got no ignition switch. You could show up with a VIN number, but I have no VIN number. Motor numbers and VIN numbers don't track together. I mean, I don't know. I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take their word for it that it's all legal and kosher and all, and I'm gonna get the bike running, but I'm not gonna put a load of money into it. Though, I mean, obviously, I don't know how much due diligence. I don't know what else to do. You know. So, is it stolen? God, I hope not. And the reason why I hope not is, first of all, I don't like to deal in stolen stuff. I just want nothing to do with it. If it belongs to somebody else, it belongs with whoever it belongs to. It doesn't belong with me. And next time, I guess I'm going to have to learn to look at these things much closer before I buy them. For, you know, a lot of the older stuff, I mean, kids have scraped and painted and sanded and done all kinds of wild things to them. So for the three-wheelers, I mean, the youngest three-wheeler is now 30 years old. So I have a tendency not to look too closely for the numbers and all, because depending on the year, they're in different spots. They're hard to find, on and on. But for the quad, I should have been more astute, and I should have looked, and I should have asked the questions before I bought it, not after I bought it. So that was my fault. Harvey's got to be a little bit more careful. I mean, the last thing I ever need is, for some reason, somebody to make a call, drop a dime, do whatever, and I end up with the cops here. I have a lot of bikes, and I work really hard at having nothing that doesn't belong to me. And the last thing I need is the cops to show up and then start going through every bike, and next thing I know, I read about myself in the newspaper, and once I read about myself in the newspaper, the building inspector is going to read about me in the newspaper, and sure as God made little green apples, he's going to be by here to ask me why I have so many bikes here, and tell me how all these bikes should be registered, and tell me how I shouldn't have canvas shelters, and tell me all kinds of other troublesome things. So, homie don't need that trouble, and homie don't need stolen bikes. So, yeah, I don't know what to do about it, other than everybody I've spoken to so far swears that it's legitimate, and they have absolutely no clue how the numbers got scraped. So there's the story on that. Bill, I really want to thank you for the parts. That's cool. I got to smash that on. I got to get that bike going. I've put some thought to it, and I'm going to go with a pit bike ignition to get the thing running. That's the cheapest and most efficient way to get her running. And then I'm probably going to put together a harness for it, a key switch and a harness, and deal with the rest of it. But from an ignition point of view, I think I'm going to run an AC ignition. I'm going to run a pit bike ignition and be done with it like that. Alright folks, I really want to thank you guys for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up, and please get out there and enjoy all your days. Bye now, folks.